question then is, well, how do you create an elite bargain? How do you create an investment in the stability of the Congo? This is something that has focused the attention of many political economists around the world. There's been many books written recently by Francis Fukuyama, by Stéphane Dercon, by Daron Acemoglu and James Robinson, just to name a few, talking about how to create political pacts or elite bargains that are interested in stability. They talk about, for examples of Indonesia and Nepal, where elite pacts amongst elites against lower class militancy forged an interest by political elites, often forged together with corruption. These were often very corrupt deals, and yet you had elites try to forge stability and drive economic growth because they were being threatened by lower class militancy. This is forged, this helped them forge these elite pacts, ones you do not have in the Congo. Other examples come from countries in Africa, such as Rwanda and Ethiopia, where you have authoritarianism, at least initially, although not anymore in Ethiopia, forging a kind of domestic stability and an investment in development from the top down. Now, I would argue that the Congolese situation is very different and that those models are not helpful in the Congo. The Congo is not Rwanda, is not Ethiopia, and probably cannot be those countries. That's just not the makeup of the Congo. The Congo is more similar to Indonesia in the sense of its fragmented elites, the lack of history of a central state that precedes colonialism, a plural and fragmented society. And the nature of that makes an elite bargain very difficult. And so here I would urge policymakers to look to this pluralism and dissent as the greatest asset of Congolese society. The fact that that you have this extremely vibrant push from below, this grassroots push from below to further democracy and accountability that exists, and people need to draw on that. And I think that precisely the 2018 elections that most people agree were not won by Félix Tshisekedi, but by the runner-up Martin Fayulu, undermined this. Not because I'm a fan of Martin Fayulu, but because people, I think, deserve to trust more in what looks like a very chaotic and often corrupt Congolese democracy, but extremely vibrant as well. And international complicity, including the complicity of the US government, was critical in brokering this deal, this 2018 deal between Joseph Kabila and Félix Tshisekedi. And so I think that better models are looking to countries like Brazil, which are also enormous countries, fragmented countries, where pressure for reform has often come from this vibrancy. In Brazil, from social movements, from very strong social movements that drove the land reform process, that drove social reforms, that drove health reform, that have made Brazil into an example of how poverty reduction can be done, especially in the period before Jair Bolsonaro. Or even in my home country, the United States, where social movements were critical in bringing about civil rights reform. Yesterday, we celebrated the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. He was part of that grassroots effort of reforming the racist structures of the United States. But it also succeeded in rooting out corruption that was part of the way public life was run in the United States in the early part of the 20th century. In New York City and Chicago were run by corrupt political machines, and it was bottom-up pressure from business elites and civil society that brought about those reforms. And so I think it's similar situations in the Congo that we can look to for reform.